Thank you, Elizabeth. Now it is the Valley's biggest health alert since our latest flu break.
The potential to catch measles because of one infected man who's been all over town.
Given that this individual was around so many people for such prolonged periods, we're really concerned that there are going to be some of those in that group who aren't immune or whose vaccine didn't work for them, who are right now coming down with measles.
So where was he exactly? March 29th at Sky Harbor Airport. The next day, the LDS Cave Creek Chapel.
Then on March 31st, Wildflower Bread Company near the 101 in Hayden in Scottsdale. And then he was back at Sky Harbor. ABC 15's Nohelani Graff is live there tonight.
Nohe, he was visiting a friend, I understand. Where did they go that would have exposed others?
We know that this all started at Terminal 4. At peak hours, it is the busiest in terms of flights and passengers. Once on the ground, we know that person was picked up by a friend and off they went.
Maricopa County Health Department says the man drove to Cave Creek Sunday, the day after arriving. Destination, the Mormon Church on North Basin Road.
Bishops say the man would have come for a 1:30 service, stayed for a couple of hours, and in that time, about 200 people would have been in the church.
I presume that there may have been some contact here or there, but I expect it with a visitor, it's not dramatically extensive.
At risk would be the Desert Ridge Ward. There was only a sacrament meeting that day.
All families, yeah, all ages, and so it's the main meeting that everybody attends.
The passenger was on the move again on Monday the 31st, this time visiting the Wildflower Bread Company in Scottsdale.
The health department puts the exposure window between noon and 5 that day, so you can figure he sat down for a meal during the lunch hour rush.
We've had no breadheads report any of the symptoms that were commonly associated with measles. As well, we haven't had any customers call in.
They wrapped up lunch and it was back to Terminal 4. Exposure hours between 3 and 7 p.m. And so we know that once they were curbside, that person came back into the airport for their flight. We don't know which airline specifically they flew, but you know that they had to go through check-in. They had to go through the TSA and then onto the gates, maybe a stop at the bathroom or for food. Important to know, symptoms will start to show up if you have it between 7 and 10 days. Right now, as long as 20 days later, if you do get sick, and it will be like the flu with a rash that starts on your face, call your doctor. Don't show up at the office.
And we had a lot of questions. We're sure you do too. So we're taking action with all kinds of answers for you tonight.
Yeah, so what does it mean to be exposed? You were in the same space 2 hours after the infected person left.
If you're vaccinated, are you safe? Experts say your risk is low, but there's always a chance a vaccination won't work. That's why it's important for people around you to be vaccinated.
And how do you know if you've been vaccinated? Well, you can check with your pediatrician or family doctor to get immunization records. Our state has a registry, and those born before 1957 likely have a natural immunity because of exposure before the vaccine was created.
And if you haven't had the vaccine and you were in those places we mentioned, getting a shot now won't help. In this case, it's just been too long. And as Nohe mentioned, don't just show up at your doctor's office if you think you're infected. Measles is highly contagious.
Yeah, you should definitely call ahead of time so you don't infect others. And when you do show up, you should wear one of these medical masks. Now, we have a breakdown of the specific symptoms on ABC15.com. And stay with us. We're going to keep you posted if there is, in fact, a measles outbreak.